He stood up from the dinner table, then crumpled to the floor. His parents thought it was low blood sugar, or maybe dehydration, but it kept happening. Every time he stood, his body gave out. No one could explain why. Before his body betrayed him, before he became the boy who couldn't stand up, Ethan was always on the move. Practices, study sessions, gaming nights with friends, soccer tournaments. You'd think he'd be tired, but being busy was just part of who he was. After running some basic labs, everything came back normal. The cardiologist visit was good news. There didn't seem to be any heart problems. But the neurologist visit left him more confused than ever. He hit his head and briefly stopped breathing. At that time when the paramedics arrived. His heart rate was 170 BPM. He was diagnosed with postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, or POTS, a form of dysautonomia, which is a problem with the autonomic nervous system. Basically, the part of your nervous system that regulates stuff that happens automatically, like your heart rate and blood flow. In Ethan's case, it was clear that something was wrong with the part of his nervous system that helps you adjust to standing. But he will always remember what that felt like. Because sometimes getting up isn't just about rising in the morning. It's about rising in the face of a challenge. It's about rising up and fighting for every step forward, even when your body wants to keep you down. Just from standing, in the emergency room, a nurse noticed something strange. But in people with POTS, this reaction is exaggerated. Ethan's heart rate would spike by over 40 beats per minute when he stood. But because his blood vessels didn't get the memo, there was nowhere for the extra blood to go, so it pooled in his legs instead, starving his brain of oxygen. When Ethan lay down, his vitals normalized. When he stood, they went wild. This was odd, but not unheard of. The doctors ordered a tilt table test, basically a hospital bed that can tilt you upright to see if that makes a difference. Brain scans revealed nothing. Maybe it's stress, maybe he's depressed, but Ethan wanted to stand, just couldn't. A healthy, ambitious teen with a killer left foot and plans for the future. He was sure his friends would think it was hilarious if they saw him trying to stand and failing. Finally, he had a name for what was happening to him. Finally, he knew he wasn't alone. But now the real work began, figuring out how to manage his symptoms. Dizziness, fainting, fatigue, rapid heartbeat, brain fog. All of these are common in POTS patients. But because it's often misunderstood, misdiagnosed, or just plain dismissed, especially in teens, POTS can devastate a person's life. They'd probably think he was faking it. So he stayed seated, but he was lucky. He had a support system that helped him navigate the road to recovery. He learned how to manage his condition and slowly got his life back on track. Now he's back in school and hanging out with friends. Sure, there are still some bad days, but overall, Ethan's doing better. On the couch, in bed, anywhere but standing. His world got smaller and smaller. Named Ethan, age 16, just a typical high school sophomore. At least that's what he was. Just from standing up? It started small, a little dizziness after gym class, a bout of lightheadedness, getting out of bed. But then, he started blacking out in the middle of class, falling in the hallway at school, passing out in the shower. And it wasn't like he could control it either. He'd feel fine 1 second, then the next he'd be collapsing into a heap on the bathroom floor, hitting his head and briefly stopping breathing. Once he even passed out at the kitchen sink while helping his mom make dinner. Then his body started shutting down. The worst part, he had no idea why. Was it stress? Was it some kind of heart problem? He pushed himself too hard playing soccer? What was happening to him? As it progressed, Ethan began to fear standing. Literally, it felt like gravity was killing him, like he was melting downward every time he stood. At first, his pediatrician was able to rule out some possibilities. Over time, he became weaker and more afraid. He stopped going to soccer. Then one day, he collapsed at the top of the stairs at school. Within minutes, the mystery that had been plaguing Ethan's life cracked open. When healthy people stand up, their heart rate increases slightly and their blood vessels tighten, which helps direct blood toward the brain. There are many forms of dysautonomia. For Ethan, his diagnosis brought relief in a way. For Ethan, it meant missing out on his freshman year of high school. He's no longer the boy who couldn't stand up. He didn't fear falling. He feared standing. When your body forgets how to be upright, every step feels like a betrayal. Thanks for watching. See you next time.